Now over to visas issuance in Africa, we see that the United States has reduced the validity of tourist and business visas issued to Nigerians from 5 years to 3 months in what its embassy describes as part of an ongoing global review of visa security standards. The change, quietly posted on the U.S. mission's website on Tuesday and confirmed in a social media notice on Friday, affects B category non-immigrant visas, the class most frequently used by Nigerian students, traders, and holidaymakers. Embassy officials say the shorter window aligns Nigeria with new benchmarks introduced after a worldwide assessment of overstay and fraud risks. Meanwhile, Nigerian government bristled at timing. Presidential aides criticized the measure as unfair and non-reciprocal, arguing that Abuja continues to grant multi-year entry privileges to United States citizens. Also, Foreign Affairs Minister Yusuf Tugar suggested in an interview that the policy was linked to American pressure on Nigeria to accept Venezuelan deportees, an assertion the United States Embassy denied in subsequent briefings. Meanwhile, we see that officials in Washington and Abuja privately acknowledge that Nigeria's refusal to absorb Venezuelan prisoners has strained relations. Yet, embassy spokespeople insist that the new rule has no connection to deportation talks, e-visa reforms, or Nigerians' budding engagement with the BRICS economic bloc. Now, what does this mean? And what's the impact on travelers and businesses? Let's hear.
It would therefore be remiss of me if I did not mention the apparent recent decision by the government of the United States to include all ECOWAS countries in its visa restrictions. I believe Togo was on an earlier list. This would be most unfortunate if it comes to pass, because we're a region of opportunities ready to do deals. We possess critical minerals and even rare earths such as samarium from the monazite found in my home state of Bauchi, for instance. We would like to do deals with the United States, but visa restrictions are non-tariff barriers to deals. We in this part of the world are students of the art of the deal and have been part of the international trading system even before the modern state system. ECOWAS countries and the United States have a rare opportunity to create a partnership based on principles of need.
Well, the partnership is very much needed at this time, but we see that the immediate consequences is financial and logistical. Frequent flyer consultants servicing the oil sector, parents attending United States University graduations, and small-scale traders who rely on Americans' wholesale markets must now apply and pay for visas up to 20 times more often. Immigration lawyers already report a surge in appointment requests. Now, could higher cost and uncertainty redirect Nigerian business travelers toward Europe, Canada, or the United Kingdom, thereby eroding U.S. commercial influence in West Africa? A critical question to look into. Education agents also, the one that the 90-day limit complicates planning for students awaiting admission letters or F1 visa interview slots. Although study visas are issued under a different category, applicants often begin the process with short-term B visas while gathering documents. Meanwhile, we see that the embassy says extended validity could be restored once Nigeria meets technical and security benchmarks. But it has not released a checklist or a timeline. Diplomats familiar with prior reviews in Kenya and India note that improvement in passport ship security, biometric data sharing, and real-time departure reporting were decisive in restoring longer visas in those countries. Now, how quickly can Nigeria upgrade airport exit control systems and data sharing protocols to satisfy the United States requirements at this time without even diverting scarce resources from domestic security needs? What even happens next? What's at stake in these nations? We see that the senior officials in Nigeria and Abuja are weighing whether to shorten the United States visa privileges in retaliation, a step that could complicate cooperation on counter-terrorism, public health initiatives, and trade shows, which is scheduled for later this year. Analysts caution that a policy tit for tat would damage both economies. Nigerian firms rely on the United States technology partners, and American Airlines count Lagos among their most profitable African routes. Well, for now, travelers must assume that a 3-month visa is the new normal. Travel agents advise applicants to align trips with the precise dates listed on approval stickers and to resist the temptation to overstay an infraction that could trigger even tighter rules. Now, this visa's issuance is not just a case in Nigeria. Over to Ghana. In Ghana, we see that the Ghanaian government has strongly criticized the United States for its decision to reduce the validity period of B1 and B2 visas issued to Ghanaian nationals from 5 years with multiple entries to just 3 months, single entry. In a statement issued on July 10th, Ghana's Ministry of Foreign Affairs described the policy shift as a significant departure from previously established reciprocal visa agreement between both countries. The ministry said the new restrictions undermine long-standing diplomatic and people-to-people relations. While acknowledging the United States' sovereign rights to enforce immigration policies, Ghana expressed concern that the unilateral reduction places a strain on travel for Ghanaians seeking entry for business, education, tourism, medical treatment, and family visit. Meanwhile, the ministry said it is monitoring the situation and remains committed to engaging the United States diplomatically to seek an amicable resolution. It also urged Ghanaian travelers to adhere strictly to U.S. visa procedures and entry requirements to avoid further complications. Now, between January and July 2025, Ghana's embassies in Washington, D.C. and New York reportedly issued over 40,000 visas to U.S. citizens, with 70% of those being multiple entry visas. The ministry said this figure underscores Ghana's commitment to reciprocity in diplomatic relations. And if we believe this, moving on, we see that the Foreign Minister Samuel Ablakwa recently led a high-level delegation to Washington to address the development. According to the ministry, the meetings were constructive and have set the stage for continued diplomatic dialogue. Ghana reaffirmed its intention to strengthen bilateral relations with the United States despite the setback, also emphasizing its readiness to sustain diplomacy at the highest levels.